Sebastian Vettel holds the F1 record for the shortest time elapsed before picking up a penalty. He was caught speeding in the pit lane in practice for the 2006 Turkish Grand Prix almost immediately after he exited the garage, just 9 seconds into his F1 career. The inaugural World Drivers' Championship was held in 1950 during the 4th season of F1. Giuseppe Farina, who was driving for Alfa Romeo, took the championship after winning 3 of the 7 races held that season. Juan Manuel Fangio also took 3 victories, but lost down points after having retired from the other 3 races he entered. It's almost a given that the drivers on the grid today were kart racing as children, so they could enter the sport with as much experience as possible. It hasn't always been like that though. In the 1950s, the average age of the drivers was 39, with 3 over the age of 50. For 2022, the FIA announced that the cars would now be rolling on 18-inch wheels, far larger than 13-inch. Immediately after he exited the garage, just 9 seconds into his F1 career. Let's hope we see a good effort from McLaren here today. In recent times they've fallen to somewhat of a midfield team. The last time a constructor won a world championship was in 19... 2020. The season was removed 43 hours later. The average age of the drivers was 39, with 3 over the age of 50. Takes the #1 spot for almost all constructor records in F1. It's the team with the most world championships won, the most Grand Prix wins, the most races. Sebastian Vettel holds the F1 record for the shortest time elapsed before picking up a penalty. He was caught speeding in the pit. His F1 career.
Welcome back to IRT Esports. My name is IRT Indigo. Hopefully you're all doing well, and we're going to go into the race as we had short qualifying. So apologies about the 18-minute of silence there, but it was a great qualifying to see all the drivers in the wet as they went around the circuit. We saw Erpek at the final stages qualified hit the wall and fully lost his wing. But we saw major improvements, especially Matozo, who catapulted up the order too. Had a great qualifier. I saw a few people struggling now and then. A few people invalidated the lap time, so hopefully those people that were wrong-footed and qualified, hopefully they can make their way up the field then. But this is the 6th round here at the Australian Grand Prix. Last time out we were in the Qatar Grand Prix where we saw NLR close in on ETA as CPI is in third place the championship ahead of WR Esports. But we're going to go straight into the race then. Here we are for the Australian Grand Prix. And we are away then for the Australian Grand Prix here in Melbourne. Looks like Erpek's got a decent start. Will he be challenged into turn 1? We've got Dark, who might make a lunge up the inside into 1. But he maintains his position as Fraser and Matozo go side by side. And look at that. Igor might take advantage now on Matozo getting put offline into turn 1 as we head down into turn 3. We go any moves. We've got Matozo going up the inside into 3. We've got Nico versus Kilcree there further back the field. But it looks like Matozo stays in P5 then with Kilcree up into 7th place ahead of Nico. A few more changes in the midfield there. But it looks like everybody got out unscathed in the first lap, or have they? Let's see how it all goes down in towards the end of the lap there. But it looks like everybody there made it out unscathed. Nobody's spun, nobody's made contact, I don't believe, with the naked eye. So that's great to see from all these esports drivers. Hyphen making a move on Kiki there for P11. He had a terrible qualified, he couldn't get a lap together, but we've got a few people close together. Look at that, they're bunching themselves up into turn 9 and turn 10. And here we are into heavy braking zone, into 11. Let's see if there's any moves you can see further on the head. Look at this! Will they make it 3 wide? That was so close there, they made contact. That's Kakowski on Matozo, side by side then, coming out of turn 11 as we head into 12. Kakowski should have the upper hand now. And further down, we might see him move up the inside there from Nico and Kilcree there in NLR. But I need to get the graphics sorted because I was not organised whatsoever. And Hythen there making a move then, up into P10 he goes. And what a great, but look at that, Joe Lavera is on his left hand side, he goes up the inside, late braking, does he go off the track? No. He managed to keep it on the track despite later braking later than his arrival. Kilcree alongside Matozo once again as they continue to scrap it out. Here we are, look at this there. This is going to get ever so close. Will the enemy contact there? It's turn 3. No, but I thought they would be. You know, Darren versus Lola Vera, and he's lost another place too. Has the JR driver, so he's fallen backwards. So hopefully he can get himself into rhythm very shortly. Otherwise, more positions will be lost around here. You don't want to lose any positions around here in Australia as well. Very easy to lose positions with the DRS being very powerful with 4 DRS zones around here before the next lap is activated. So, what's the scenario up ahead? We've got Erpek in the lead ahead of Dark. Erpek's had a great start, and let's see the position changes on losses then. So, they top 3 stay where they are, but I dare say Dark has an influence and can change that. Third behind, I can see Kilcree and Nico going at it again. Here we are then into turn 11. Nico and Hyphen going side by side, but nothing Nico could do. He's on the soft compound tyre, so hence why he's quicker than the rest. And he goes a bit deep as well, goes off the track where we saw Timo Glock go off in 2009 with the safety car. And here comes Roy around the outside of his teammate as the X-Boys go side by side, with Dareth gaining good slipstream there. And no DRS on this straight, it will be on the next straight as we head into turn 1. And I think it was wise for Dareth to back out of that one, not to make contact into turn 1. But might have another chance into 3. And let's see how it all unfolds. Yeah, he's going to go around the outside. Might take advantage of the soft runner. As you can see there, a bit of contact as well. Third behind, Oni versus... Oh, they get squeezed. And that's an immediate penalty there. We saw back in EML on Wednesday that people were picking up immediate penalties at that particular part of the track. So you got to be very careful not to go out wide there. I know it's easier said than done with guys going side by side. But at the same time, be very cautious of that corner. Just a bit of a glitch there, unfortunately. Like turn 1 Austria, if you go all the way around the outside. But yeah, got multiple good battles going on. The top 5 then are separated this DRS train as Matozo and Kilcree had a battle on the first lap. And here comes Kilcree up the inside. Oh, make contact there! And he gets into a spin. So Was the door firmly closed on him? I'm not quite sure, to be honest, but he's fallen down the order now and into 17th. So it's a big NLR train with one person in first and the other one in 17th. However, further behind, Heighton is under massive pressure as he outbroke himself once again. So it's turn 13 is kryptonite there, because he seems to be going off at that particular part of the track. But however, collects the car and stays where he is, as Dareth there will put him under pressure once again. And apologies if I do get your name wrong, just bear with me on that one. As Roberto, what's that? Is that turn 1? Yeah, it is then. So not really a mistake, you see, unless they tag wheels, of course, but you can't outbreak yourself like that. So I dare say a bit of contact might have been caused there. But however then, Matozo 2.3 seconds behind Kikowski, so the top 5 are left in that DRS train as Lolovera gets a penalty, a 3-second time penalty, so that must have been out of turn number 8 that was, and Erpek has been overtaken for the lead of this race, so Dark moves himself up into P1 ahead of Erpek there, with Fraser following in P3 for WOR. WOR recently have been on a charge as well, so it's nice to see them as they challenge CPI for P3. As Kikowski there represented CPI along with Igor as well. And once again, more position changes into turn 11. We've got Lolovera being overtaken by Oni, and Matozo picks up a 3-second time penalty as he tries to drop Nico out of his DRS range, but can't do it as the DRS around here keeps everybody intact. That's the problem for Matozo P6 there, with those early squabbles going side by side as Roberto picks up a 3-second time penalty. You can see Matozo will lose a lot of time, so he's already been drifted apart from this DRS train. There's no way of getting back in it, so it's going to be very difficult for him to close that deficit down, especially not having DRS himself and being on attacked by Nico behind and the two X-boys in P8 and P9 there, followed by Dareth for WOR. So it's looking this phase of the race, we've got a few teammates in first and third and 16th and 10th as well, so Dareth there in P10 as he follows Hyphen for P9 there. And here we are on the straight then with the power of the DRS, the two X-boys going side by side. Nico is ahead of Matozo there, and further behind, let's see how these two boys settle it out. And looks like the soft runner stays ahead for the time being, as he will put the pressure on. He has to make moves here. He can't afford to stay behind people because he knows he's on the soft compound tyres. He gets forced all the way to the right. And now going into turn 11, deep braking there has cost him. He had to tap the side as Dareth there tries to go around the outside. Nothing doing, as Oni now will take advantage of his mistakes, trying to go around the outside, but not a place you really want to scrap, especially heading into the final corner too. So yeah, midfield fights continuing as Nico there is the lead DRS train of the second pack. However, the top 5 in their own separate battles there, with Erpek putting the pressure on Dark. Erpek, I think he's raced around here. Yeah, he has. He raced around here at EML, I think, so he knows how to drive this track. He's already got some experience under his belt, has Erpek. He won in Qatar, and unfortunately on Tuesday in Legacy Division, where he had that puncher as well in on the last lap, and Sam Game Official went on to win the race as well. So yeah, Erpek there won one but lost one, and it was due to stay that one lap later because of that puncher, sorry. But Igor right behind, you can see Erpek moving to the left hand side, re-overtakes Dark. That's the most common overtaking place now. You see a league racer down at turn 9. You see a lot of overtakes there. Obviously in the past you didn't because you had that chicane and no DRS of course. But further behind, Igor down the inside. Was there a bit of contact there? But you can see Fraser, more contact too, as he almost gets out of shape and thankfully collects the car. Fraser sticks around the outside. I think Igor just lost traction. I don't think it was due to contact. It was just a bit eager to pick up the throttle. As you can see, penalties in the midfield there as those guys are in a tense battle. There you can see, once again at turn 13, X losing another position right there. And Dareth goes around the outside into the last corner, but they both have DRS says so it's going to be a drag race all the way down into turn 1. Heighton trying to make a move on the inside, you don't want to do it, and you can see, contact, that was inevitable. That was inevitable when you saw it, and yeah, a virtual safety car has been deployed. Not really a place you want to go side by side through turn 1. We've seen it plenty of times when loads of people have attempted the moves and it ends in chaos. But yeah, that's the story then at turn number 1. As you can see there, a few people trying to gain advantage, but on the soft compound tyres you can see might be struggling to tire temperature. Might have had the grip, but the tire temperature probably wasn't there. You can see him sliding around, especially at the penultimate corner at turn 13. Outbroke himself a few times, and it's definitely cost him in this race. Then his teammate Roy in P8 then left on the medium compound tyres. So interestingly, neither driver has gone for the hards, and they've gone for the mediums immediately. So not really paid off for him, but same as Redder in P15 there, not really gaining much of an advantage with that. GF10, Akiki and DFL in P11 and P16 there, so they'll be looking to try and gain some more positions if they can in the race. But just outside the top 10 is Kiki in P11 for GT10, as I try not to get mixed up with GF10. Can be very confusing indeed, especially if you've commentated over a team for a long time. But virtual safety car is out. I don't expect anybody in the top 5 to go in the pit lane. What about no, because the DRS has been enabled again as the virtual safety car has came to a close. As look at Matozo gaining immediately, but what's going to happen at turn 1? And Igor is ahead of Fraser as he's in a CPI sandwich with Igor and Kakowski. However, Matozo scrapping away with Roig there, and Nico getting involved too. Kakowski has overtaken Fraser, so it's lost out to both CPI drivers at turn 1. He's got swamped with the virtual safety cars. Those guys were able to take advantage, and he's now down into P5 then. So both teammates being there representing CPI. I wonder if those two can work together, try and split the strategy as well. And let's see who goes for the undercut first. Both CPI drivers looking really great. I can try and put a challenge on Dark and Urpex. Their teammates, well, Dark and Urpex teammates are not there, so yeah, they'll be a bit exposed as Dark and Urpex, for the third time in this race, exchange positions. And Dark retakes the lead of this race with more scraps. Look at this battle then. Let's see how this is going to unfold. Yep, I didn't think so. I didn't think it would end cleanly, but this is what it is really, and all drivers there just desperate to get ahead of each other. It's quite hard to follow what's going on with all these people fighting everywhere you look at the track with separate battles. Not a lot of patience some of these guys have got, but that's what's cost him during this race with optimistic moves like that at turn 9. Of course, in EML we saw with a battle with Stefano there, going around the outside with an incredible lunge as well. Was that on Urpec? I can't remember who it was, but it was a great move for the lead of the race. But Urpec in P2 then right behind Dark once again. Dark showing some great pace. I think he raced in the EML for Australia. I think he took part, and his pace here in Australia is looking much better than it was in EML. So I wonder if it was just practice he's had or just a lack of confidence. Maybe it was the rain too, because there was a bit of rain and it could have spoiled his race. So yeah, there was raining in qualified too, and he showed some great pace there. I think he started second place, and now he's up to P1. But as you expect, these two will constantly trade positions with DRS then as they swap over the upper hand with each other. The power of the DRS being very strong once again as Lulivera has overtaken Nico for P6, and yeah, sadly those guys have dropped back due to the early squabbles they had on the first lap. Kilcree up into P10 trying to make amends after that misfortune he had early on in this race. Inside the top 10 with Roig under pressure from Kiki there, the GF10 driver putting GT10 driver putting pressure on X-Rat in front of him. But the top 5 will get very interesting as we saw different strategies at play due to the rain being caused earlier on in the session. I do believe some of you tried to message me during qualifying, but I don't really look at my phone during qualifying, only the race to see what's going on. I love to see the comments points of view to see how their driver's getting on. But so far, up behind goes to NLR, but CPI in a really great position then. So both teams will be looking with interests, and ETA Dark in P2 as well, doing a great job. Lap 10 already, wow, race has flown by. I didn't even realise it was lap 10. So 19 more laps to go then. I wonder when the pit stops will start happening soon between all these drivers, about lap 16, 17. We'll see. It was a two-stop strategy back in EML due to the weather changing and the safety car too. In fact, I don't think we had safety cars during that race. It was just the wet conditions that changed everything. And Igor there putting pressure on Dark ahead of him. He's more closer than Dark is towards Urpec. As we head into turn 11, another place where overtaking is conventional. Unconventional place to overtake is like turn 1. unless it's the start of the race of course, but you don't really want to go for it unless you're fully ahead. You don't want to go side by side through a fast corner 1 because it's so easy to spin off into the wall or go off the track itself. But here we are on lap 11. Erpek continues to lead ahead of Dark, with Igor Jelen in P3 ahead of Kakowski in P4. The top 5 there having their own battles, and for people like Kakowski and Fraser as well, got pushed further back the field. It was in P3 but dropped to P5 due to that virtual safety car just caused him to lose out. However, Royk has picked up a 3-second time penalty as well for exceeding track limits out of turn 2. Such a nasty little corner there with turn 2 with track limits. You've got to use all the corner or all the track you get away with, but you've got to keep your front right tyre on the track. I know it's hard to do so, but at the same time you've got to use all the track. Steve Ann there, I just saw your messages and he is absolutely fuming with me having my mic on mute. I think I know the reason why I had my mic on mute, because I think at the beginning of the stream I had it on already, but I didn't realise. And you can see there Raider swapping positions with Royk for P11 there. And GT Tech Kiki is in the top 10 then, so his team will be looking with interest as well. Doing a great job so far. They first appeared, I think, in the last race at the Qatar Grand Prix, and now they're here. As we head on to lap 12 out of 29 then, with Erpek continue to lead. These guys will settle down now. I don't think they'll be squabbling that much now, unless, well, when the pit stops start happening, that should be very interesting. But Erpek, I think he tends to stay out there longer in comparison to his rivals. We saw at the Qatar Grand Prix that Erpek extended his stint. His teammate Giovanni at the time pitted earlier than him, and Erpek stayed out there later. Unlike in Legacy Division, I'm only kidding Erpek, I'm not taking the mic, but Erpek stayed longer out in Qatar last time round, last Sunday. So I wonder if he'll do that again, because the mediums will work in his favours later on. But these guys will continue to hunt him down, with Dark there in P2, getting ever so close to the back of Erpek. Looks like it's all settled down now, as loads of battles going on further before. Nico's still there with Lolavera. Those two are having their own race now, with the others pitting and spinning out as well, with contact at turn 1. And also at turn number 9 as well, we saw 4 drivers involved, and unfortunately a few of them spun out, as you expect going into turn number 9. 2 further behind him, so Royk is in the gravel then, so I wonder if it was contact or did he outbrake himself. But however, it's cost him a lot of positions, as Dark is right behind Erpek, putting him under immense pressure. You can see the amount of ERS management he's had in this race so far, almost 100%. He's just saving and saving until it matters at the very end. It's all about settling in. Yeah, maybe on the first lap is when you push very hard, but during this stint of the race you just want to save, conserve and stay in that DRS train and just try and pull away from others until you have to go on the medium compound tyres later. But yeah, great ERS management for majority of them. They're all above 80%, including Erpek. Well, he's got a good amount of ERS despite being in first place, but obviously knows not to use it. But the guy with Dart there will make a move once again. So this is the 4th time, but look at that, down the inside goes Igor. Erpek's pushed out wide. Kakowski takes advantage. Wow. So that all changed in a matter of seconds there, as Fraser is up into P4 then. So I saw Igor coming at a rate of knots. He did not want to be third in this DRS train. He thought, right, Dark's going to make a move. It's my turn to make a move. That's what you want to do in third place. You want to be unpredictable, really. I know being third place in the DRS train is not great whatsoever, but he knew that Erpek wasn't going to be using, so he used himself to overtake Erpek and put himself second. So both CPI drivers have now put themselves in a prime position. What's your verdict on that move? It was a great tactical move, but at the same time, did Erpek have enough space? Did he push him out wide? We'll find out. But it's cost Erpek. He dropped from first all the way to last in this DRS train, so he's lost out big time there. Thinking that Dark was the only one that's going to overtake him, then Igor just came along, took second place. Kakowski took advantage of that with Fraser, and unfortunately Erpek was left into 5th place there at the back of this DRS train then. Now ETA Dart leads with both CPI drivers right behind him of Igor and Kakowski as well, so it won't be easy with those two working with each other. NLR are the upper hand back at the Qatar Grand Prix, but this time around CPI looks like they've got the upper hand this time, as they want to close in on ETA, as Erpek and Fraser are fighting. Erpek's in the gravel there, and he's lost out big time as well. Will he get out of this DRS train? Yes he will then, so it's costing him. Double blow there for Erpek. Did he try and move? Did he get forced off? I should have stayed on board with him, but there was battles further down. But unfortunately Erpek there losing out big time. It's a shame there for the NLR man. But can he recover now? What will he do at this stage of the race? He's outside the 1 second range of DRS. He needs to use a lot more EOS to get himself back in that DRS range. As these guys will continue to conserve their battery. I do sound a bit tired, but I am tired by the way. I was drinking last night, and that's why my performance is not 100%. So if I do mess up at some point, just bear with me. As Kilcree is in the pit lane then to go on a brand new set of medium tyres at the NLR man of Kilcree. And I suspect Erpek might be pitting very shortly, as the guys further in this DRS train might be thinking about an undercut. I think the pit window is started to open up, and here we are then, change of leadership as Igor has taken the lead away from Dart then, so we got a new race leader in this race. And Igor there showing some great pace and mighty moves as Nico and Lolivera will not leave each other alone as they continue to squabble for P6 and P7. But what about the pit stops then? I think the pit window will be open very shortly as we head on to lap 16 very shortly as well. Let's see what these guys will do. Will they head off into the pit lane? So yes, Igor goes to the pit lane. Kakowski is in the pit lane as well. So I hope for those two, they've got separate pit boxes there, as they both go into pit lane at 80 kilometers an hour. What's that, about 60 miles an hour if I'm correct? But they both got separate pit boxes. And into the pit lane they go then to do the undercut on their rival. So the race is on then. And let's see where those two rejoin. Hopefully for those, they don't rejoin in a bit of traffic, because that'll definitely lose them big time. And they rejoin in a nice clear air ahead of Dareth there in P8. The WO man as well in P8 got themselves in a big scrap early on in this race. So Kakowski and Igor can use their medium compound tyres to their advantage and now start to try and do the undercut. Dark, Fraser and Erpek for P1 and P2 and P3. Let's see then where the pendulum swings to. I presume these guys will pit at the end of this lap as well, because being stuck behind both CPI drivers, that's going to be a pain throughout the whole race. It looks like both CPI drivers got the upper hand so far in this race, unless a safety car. But look at Fraser, I think he outbroke himself, and I think he did as well. And Erpek there just back it off as we head into the penultimate corner. Let's see if they pit, and Erpek stays out there like he did at the Qatar Grand Prix. So he stays out there for one more lap or so, as Dark and Erpek are in the pit lane. Dark and Fraser are in the pit lane. So let's see then where these two rejoin as we head on to lap 17 out of 29. This could be a phenomenal race. They're stuck behind both CPI drivers. It could be pain throughout the second stint of this race. And let's have a look then. Where has Dark rejoined? Dark's rejoined, you can see there, with the power of the undercut has worked in favour of CPI. There's Dareth, and I don't expect him to fight his teammate as he backs out there. Yeah, it was lucky that Dareth wasn't somebody else, otherwise they would have made the move. But Fraser there just being protective from his teammate, and he could still continue to put pressure on Dark ahead of him. So Lolivera and Erpek haven't pitted so far in this race. They continue. Oh, Erpek has picked up a 3-second time penalty then. That's such a shame there for the NLR man there, but it's not going well so far, ever since what happened at turn 30. Kakowski and Igor swap places then at turn number 9. I think those two will be working with each other. It wasn't a great race for Erpek back at the Australian Grand Prix, I think, in EML, as he makes his pit stop then on lap 17. Erpek went on the soft compound tyres during that race, as Lolivera will take P1 away, as Matozo's in the pit lane too. So there are the CPI boys and they should rejoin well clear of Erpek, but if Erpek's got the pace on the brighter set of mediums, immediately firing them up. Let's see where he rejoins then. I presume behind the three was battling. There's Dareth then into turn one, and gives him a nice little love tap as well to try to get a move on, but Dareth will make a move then, and this is what Erpek wants at all. I thought Erpek would have been more aggressive to try and keep that place, but Dareth is through to P6, and Dareth could be a Sergio Perez in this situation. No, he lets him go. So I thought he'd defend like crazy to help his teammate Fraser, but actually lets him go into turn 4. As you can see there, both CPI drivers will continue to let each other through, not fight each other hard whatsoever, just trading DRS there to try and keep Dark and Fraser at bay. But those two pitted early, will it bite them back towards the end of the race? As Dareth there overtakes Erpek. I think that was tactical, you know, for Dareth to get the DRS off Erpek. But you can see there, double blow there, because Dareth has the DRS once again. Only one detection point in the 2 DRS series, but with the fresher medium compound tyres on board with the NLR man of Erpek, he should be able to dispose Dareth quickly on a brand new set of medium compound tyres, but is not able to do it, as you can see, losing loads of time behind Dareth there. So a lot of pain there for Erpek. Now needs to clear Dareth, as De Oliveira is on the soft compound tyres then, so that's very interesting. Extended his stint from mediums to softs, and I wonder, with 10 laps left to go in this race, is the soft tyres the way to go for him? He'll be very quick at this stage of the race too, so I expect him to gain a few positions. He started P6, falling down into P9. Great qualifying towards the end as well for De Oliveira, but let's see if his strategy pays off. So Erpek has finally got rid of Dareth, who's now in the clutches of Nico for P7. Nico was originally fighting with De Oliveira, but those two split strategies, and now it's a CPI 1-2 with ETA Dark and Fraser closing in. Well, by the way, it was a great race for Fraser as well, as Nico has overtaken the other WR man of Dareth. So let's see if ETA Dark can get himself in DRS range, but it would be very difficult to overtake the two ahead of him, using each other as DRS like Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris did back at the Singapore Grand Prix. But obviously those two were teammates. It was tactical from Carlos Sainz to do that. He wasn't helping Lando Norris, he was using him to try and keep both Mercedes behind. But you can see ETA Dark now is in DRS range of the two CPI boys ahead of him. He just needs to try and split one of them to try and get himself into second place and try and take the other one on as well. But easier said than done. But like the Singapore situation with Dark and Fraser being on the attack there, like Russell and Hamilton, but not able to get through. And what about Erpek in P5? 4.7 seconds away from Fraser. He has the tyre advantage, but what about the penalty situation as well? How big is the tyre advantage for Erpek as well? Will that one or two laps difference make a difference in the end? Who knows? But Dark then, let's see how it all unfolds going into turn number 9. It's a bit too far back to make a move. Obviously don't want to use a lot of EOS either. He needs to save it in defense mode as well. Try and use it later on in this race, but it looks like he's flying his ETA Dark. He closed a big gap down. That was like over 2 seconds at one point, and now he's in the DRS range as Fraser is being brought in as well. You can see both CPI drivers close together, so Dark trying to force him into uncomfortable territory, just trying to find a way to split both of them. I think the only way CPI can do this if Kwiatkowski and Igor keep trading places. You can't afford to stay behind his teammate, because otherwise Dirk will take advantage. But somebody has gone for a spin down at turn 11. Who was that? Was that Oni in P13? I'm not quite sure. But anyways, back to the battle for the top 4 then. They're all bunched up. Under a second covers the top 4, and this is mighty close. Dark and Fraser left out there with their teammates further down the field, but the CPI boys working with each other under huge pressure, a lot of concentration as well, a lot of tactical and racing going on between the CPI boys, trying to keep Dark at bay, but it's going to be very difficult now. Looks like his teammates pulled away, and Kwiatkowski could be under pressure from Dark very shortly, and Fraser's all over the back of him too for good measure. So Dark's having to think about attacking and defending, as he's got Fraser right behind. But as we head into turn number 9, they all stay in formation for the time being. second DRS zone coming up as well, or actually fourth DRS zone coming up, as Oliveira has overtaken Kill Creek for P8, so trying to make use of those soft compound tyres towards the end. Medium's the soft strategy, not really a strategy you really see in league racing, but that's an aggressive strategy. I wonder how his tyres will cope towards the end. 1.7 seconds is his nearest rival of WO Darif, who's on the older medium compound tyres as well, so pitted quite early in this race with Darif. Was it because of damage? We did see him getting a bit involved in contact there, but can he make his medium go towards the end? It'll be a massive stretch. I've seen lots of surprises here in league racing. I think those no, because he's in the pit lane as he gets off those medium compound tyres. So that's my question already answered on lap 22. As he goes onto the soft compound tyres, let's see. I think he'll rejoin down in P12 behind Raider. And who's there? Let's see then, as he comes out the pit lane. Here comes Kilkery and Raider. They're both close together, and I think they jump him. And he rejoins in P12, but he has the soft compound tyres fitted on to that car, so he should be very quick in comparison to those two. But 7 tenths is the gap between Kikowski and Igor. I wonder if Kikowski could be backing off. I wonder down at turn 5 and turn 6, just to give Igor that breathing space and use that DRS to protect himself against Dark. As you can see there, Dark right behind Kikowski. What's going to happen at turn 11? He's just too far back for the time being. Kikowski knows he's coming, he's on the charge, but Erpek has closed the gap down. It was 4.6, now it's 3.4, so Erpek could be getting involved in this battle very shortly as he continues to close the gap. So expect a 5-way fight for first, but the difference is Erpek has got a 3-second time penalty. He's gained a lot of time in that final sector alone, 2.9. So he's getting about 6 tenths in that final sector. Unbelievable from Erpek there to have the pace. These guys are bunched up with the turbulent air dirtier. Erpek has got clear air to use it. He's used a lot of ERS as well, as you can see as he continues to deploy that battery. But the top 4 will not use their batteries just yet until later stages of this race, so it gives Erpek a fighting chance of getting back in that DRS range with those fresh and medium compound tyres. Darif has overtaken Raider, he splits those two, and now the next target for him is Kiki, who's been maintaining P10 for majority of the race, but I think it'll be short-lived as Darif will make a move on him very shortly. He's in the 1 second range of DRS almost, but not able to make a move just yet. As the top 4 then stay where they are as we head into turn number 9 once again. Oni sets the fastest lap of the race on a brand new set of those soft compound tyres. Obviously it was raining during qualifying, so everybody has a brand new set of softs. Hence why we might be seeing those softs being used later on in this race, as Oliveira is right behind, but not able to make a move. As you can see, the top 4 Dark just bunched up right behind Kikowski as we head on to lap 24 out of 29. When does Dark pounce? What lap will he do it? Got to be unpredictable like Eagle was on Erpek a few laps before. Down at turn number 9 where he made that fantastic move. I dare say it's hard but fair racing. I've got to give it to him. I don't think he did anything wrong. It wasn't a dive bomb. It wasn't a desperate move. It was just a tactical move. He saw the opportunity, he had the DRS and the power fault, but I think it was a clean move anyway. But I need to see the onboard. You can see Dark right behind Kikowski, so DRS enabled on this straight. Will he fancy a lunge at turn number 9? Kikowski will try and use a lot of that battery, but he gets a decent exit for that turn 7 and 8, so has a few meters in between himself and Dark. Not able to close in just yet. I thought Dark would have him as Oliveira gets past Nico, but Kikowski had a decent exit and using the ERS2 to stay ahead. As we head down into turn number 11, then CPIs will be on their toes about this one. As Erpek in the background there is 1.7 seconds behind Fraser, so he should be joining this fight very shortly with all these guys bunched each other up in the final sector. Erpek will gain a lot of time but will lose it in the first 2 corners, or the first 2 straights, with the DRS enabled for all these 4. 4 laps left to go, then I can't wait to see how this unfolds between all these guys right behind, bunched up with each other. Where will Dark send it? Opportunity to overtake down at turn 3. As you can see, Kikowski closed the DRS, but look at Fraser. Does he fancy a lunge? He thought about it, or tried to force Dark into a mistake, but he wasn't falling for that one. Tried to force Dark to outbrake himself, but Dark was too smart there. It stays with P3. But now then you can see Fraser's crawling in the back of him. Erpek has joined this fight then, so it's a 5-way fight for first, with one of them picking up a penalty. But with 4 laps to go, anyone could pick up a penalty, as Matozo has done it himself. But here we are then, Dark is right behind Kwiatkowski. Will he fancy a lunge at turn 9? He is too far back. As you can see, Kwiatkowski had the speed on his teammate to close in, but Dark, can he get him into turn number 11? Will both CPI drivers swap positions? They might have to, you know, because Dark will go down the inside if he can, but he can't do it then. I think both, I don't know what CPI can do. A 1-2 is very good, but maybe a 1-3 to sacrifice, because I don't know. Dark, I thought would have a chance of overtaking them both, but just staying in that formation as we head on to lap 26 out of 29. I don't think it'll be a 1-2 for CPI, but they would love to have that. But Erpek is alongside Fraser, as you don't really see that. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, contact into turn 1, and now Fraser's involved too. Erpek's in a spin. It's just a bit late to the brakes there. Made contact with Dark, as Dark remains on the track. But unfortunately, Erpek has dropped down the order. Dark is all over the back there of Kwiatkowski. NLR Kilcree is going downhill as both NLRs are close together, Kilcree and Erpek. But back to the battle for the top 3 then, with CPI versus ETA. Here we are then, CPI trying to close in on the championship against ETA. They have a huge gap in the championship fight, but with this result, it'll close down dramatically as we head into turn 9 once again. Nothing Dark can do. I think both CPI might have to swap positions here to keep Dark behind. Kwiatkowski can't afford to be stuck behind or stay behind, otherwise Dark will pounce on him as we head down into turn number 11. Great teamwork, by the way, from both CPI drivers to use each other. This is exactly what they wanted during this race as well, with both CPI drivers. Both went for the undercut, both had different garages. Obviously it would have been a different story if we had the F123 cars, because one of them would have to stay out longer than the other. But due to these multiplayer cars, just benefited from that. And here we are then, the intense rivalry between CPI and ETA continues as we head down into turn number 3. When will Dark plan this? Will he do it on the last lap? I don't know, it's going to be so close between those guys. You can see Dark all over the back of Kwiatkowski then, so I think with a decent exit at turn number 8, fancy a lunge into 9. Let's see how close he is on this straight. Kwiatkowski will use more of that battery to stay with his teammate. As you can see there, he'll just pull away from Dark for the time being, so Dark is running out of time to do this. CPI have drove brilliantly to keep those guys behind. Fraser, innocent bystander into turn number 1 there, unfortunately made contact with Erpek, who was stranded in the middle of the track. Kwiatkowski's got his mirrors full there with Dark, but he's doing a great job to maintain the pressure, is the Polishman in P2. Dark looking for ways past, but he can't quite do it now. Time's running out. I think Kwiatkowski might have outbroke himself into 13 as we head into the final corner then to start lap 28, the penultimate lap of this race. I think we might see Dark make a move into turn number 9. It's going to be so close between those guys. Into turn number 2 now with more DRS on the second straight. I think Kwiatkowski's turned it off because I don't think you want to get too close to his teammate. So interestingly, Kwiatkowski not using DRS down the straight. And Dark there just pushed him through the corners. I hope they don't make contact there, because this is going to be a thrilling race towards the end. Who will come out on top? I think CPI have a bigger chance, but what about Dark? What can he do? Is he close enough this time around? Is he going to use the ERS trying to overtake Kwiatkowski and turn him on? I think this is the chance, but you can see Kwiatkowski has opened the DRS, and now we can see Dark right behind. I don't think he's close enough. No, he's not. So he needs to decent exit at 9 and turn 10 to get him into turn 11. Both had decent exits at 9 and turn 10, but as we head into turn 11, is Dark going to be late to the brakes? He thinks about it, but stays on the racing line. He's left it on the last lap, has Dark. I think CPI have planned this to perfection. I don't think they care if they have the cars in 1 and 3. If they can do a 1-2, then that's great. But a 1 and 3 is a brilliant result. As Dark there, I don't think he'll go for his turn number 1. Will he though? Will he try and force Kikowski offline? Try and get him into turn number 3? Might have a decent exit out of turn 2. And this will be another shot into turn number 3 we go. But you can see both using the ERS there. As Dark will finally go down the inside. Bit of contact too between the two cars. You can see him get to out of shape as we head into turn number 4. Dark picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now, like I mentioned at turn number 4, you don't want to be on the outside of that corner because you get an immediate penalty then. So I think the fight now has ended between first, and I think Igor has got this in the bag as they use the ERS down this straight. But I think that's it for ETA Dark now. He could get his penalty removed, but I don't think he has another chance now on the top 2. So that is it then. I think the fight has ended. Turn 11 is the last place you can really overtake somebody, as both NLR drivers have swapped positions. Kilcree is ahead of Urpek. What a great recovery drive as well from Kilcree, sorry. But we head into turn number 13 we go. Right off the final corner, and both CPR drivers have worked brilliantly. Igor wins the race ahead of Kikowski. Dark in P3 in the Australian Grand Prix, and Fraser will finish in P4. Oliveira, great drive in P5, keeps Nico in P6, and both NLR drivers unfortunately not having a great race for the first time I think in the season. Matozo will finish in P9, and Darif for WOR finishes in P10 or spins on the line, but he's got plenty of time in hand because because Kiki's coming around the final corner. Will he though? He needs to cross the line right now. Yeah, he has crossed the line. I enjoyed that race. It was a really great drive. Both CPR drivers forced the pressure. They both went for the undercut. Igor made that brilliant move on Urpek at turn number 9 to split him, to get him into second place in the DRS drain. And ever since then, both CPR drivers have worked beautifully together. That's what you call team play from CPI. Obviously NLR and ETA Dark only had one driver in that fight, and did Fraser too, so their teammates weren't involved, but you need both teammates in there to gain the maximum results, and that's what CPI did today. It was a great drive. Kikowski played a team game, being the second best. He let his teammate win, and Kikowski there finished in P2. He should be happy with himself to defend against ETA Dark, sorry. So that rounds off the Sunday race for IRT Esports event. CPI gain a whole bunch of points on their rival NLR, and I'll try and close in on ETA. Hopefully you all enjoyed the race and qualifying. Sorry I wasn't here at qualifying, but mistakes happen, like in the race with penalties and contact as well, so we come back stronger next time out. And hopefully you all enjoyed the Japanese Grand Prix and the Indian Grand Prix for MotoGP, as both MotoGP and F1 were on. But that's it from me. Hopefully you all enjoyed the weekend too. Have a great time, and we'll see you all next week on Sunday at 4:30 once again for round number 8.